touching, and being kind is so important in life. Well,
Right.
well, you're always welcome in America, man.
Thank,
You seem
yes,
really
thank you so
appreciative of
much.
our country. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool. I mean, so are there like American restaurants, French restaurants,
Mhm.
like that type of Western food? That's interesting. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I also found, some, Nepali restaurants here, there in US also.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
that's strange. Yeah, most there is or there was there was or is, I can't tell which one it is.
Hmm.
There was or is an Indian restaurant near my home that serves wonderful food. I love Indian. And they
Wow.
had
Yeah.
like a buffet and everything, and I'm saying was because it is an Indian restaurant, and then we had a virus, and then there was
Wow.
so it was I don't know whatever became of it if he stayed in business, but
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, a lot of people have felt this year have just been really stuck. So another strange thing that I want
Hmm.
your feedback and opinion on is a lot of Westerners go to
Hmm.
Nepal simply to and this is a loaded question.
Right. Right.
This is a
Yep.
mouthful. We don't even have time for the full story, but a lot of
Hmm.
people come to Nepal simply to climb Mount Everest.
Hmm.
This causes a lot of social problems and a lot of different issues in Nepal. Can you give
Hmm.
us your basically a summary of your theory and your opinion on should mountaineering be allowed in Nepal? Is it even appropriate? What do you think about Mount Everest and that whole fixation?
Right, as you said that many people come here to conquer Mount Everest, and there are other several mountains. But the thing is that those who climbed up, or like those who though who already conquered. So there are a lot of pollution things going on there, like leaving their plastics and all the unnecessary materials over there. So that should be banned. Like this would be oriented first, and government should like impose a little bit strict
Right.
rules.
I didn't I missed a word there. I didn't quite catch it. Something
Hmm.
about plastic. I didn't quite get the point. Something about plastic.
Right, right,
What?
yes, yeah, plastic bottles, like water bottles. So there
Yeah.
came a big issue about like the Mount Everest, and the trekking areas were filled up with a lot of trashes.
Oh, the oxygen bottles that they drop off. Yes, along the
Yeah, yeah,
way.
water bottles, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah,
oxygen, the CO2, the oxygen bottles. Yeah, yeah,
right,
yeah.
right, 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 yeah.
So you think it's okay. So basically you think that the littering should
Hmm.
be
Yes.
banned, but then if you're up, the problem with that though is when you get to those elevations,
Hmm.
your brain, in English the word is a very strange word. You become let me think. I have to think about how to say it. It's such a strange word. You become hyplectic. Yeah, you become hyplectic. Um,
Hmm.
your brain doesn't function. So
Hmm.
my question then would be, yeah, you're right, they shouldn't litter. But then if you're up, 28,000 feet, how are you going to tell someone, oh, by the way, don't litter? It's like they aren't. Yes, you're right, and B, they probably are not going to listen to some regulation like that. The type of unfortunately, and this is my opinion. This is purely my opinion, and I'm going to get some hate mail for this for sure. Is that the type of person who climbs Mount Everest
Hmm.
is kind of a narcissistic person, and they're the type of
Right.
people who don't care about other things
Hmm.
in general.
Right.
So, I'm sure now this episode is going to get some nasty. Well, I climbed Mount Everest and I was really nice to the environment. I picked up my bottle. Well, good for you. Well, good then. But
Yes.
I have watched many documentaries where they get these climbers up at very inappropriately high elevation, and then it becomes very hard to control people. And then the
Hmm.
other problem is that then on Everest, which is true, there's a lot of bodies that are buried and frozen into the mountain.
Right.
Um, so, I, in a very general sense, do you think people
Mhm.
should climb Mount Everest, or do you think no, at this point it should be banned? What do you think?
Uh, I'd say like that is the main part of our tourism, right? So people are like they should be allowed to climb up Mount Everest, but the pace should be controlled a little bit. That we could do some sort of pause and like cleaning up stops, because there are a lot of porters, right? So Nepali porters who have experiences of climbing Mount Everest around 20 times, 30 times, because all those foreigners are escorted by those Sherpas. In like they could be mobilized for some sort of cleaning ups, I think. Yeah, because they are very much capable of doing controlling people even in the up altitude. So so government could take help from those friends also.
I see. So you would want the government to then instruct the Sherpas to
Right.
just clean up after everybody. Well, who knows? I don't know. That sounds like, well, they were trying to pick up the bottle and then a block of ice came down and I'm not being sarcastic at all. I'm being dead serious. That sounds
Right.
really dangerous to me to ask the
Right.
Sherpa, well, while they're picking up the bottle, someone else does something foolish. That's, I don't know. It's just, to me, I mean, I get it. If you want to do it one time in the summer for the experience and you're going to not hurt people or hurt the environment, I guess.
Right.
But I think that it's kind of become an obsession with too much of the world. And I
Hmm.
think the sad truth is that it's a great portion of your country's economy is
Hmm.
revolves around tourism. And many countries have a tourism economy, nothing wrong
Hmm.
with it. But when you're putting so many people's lives in danger, uh,
Right.
that's kind of where I think it becomes inappropriate when so many
Right.
people
Right.
have died
Yeah,
doing
I
it.
agree. Totally
Yeah.
agree. Yeah. So the pace should be decreased, like pace of letting people climb up. It should be decreased, because the government has given license very rampantly. That is very bad. I think given
What do you mean?
uh,
What do you mean?
like there are like people are making some sort of crowd, like whoever wants to like climb up, and those whoever meet the criteria, they are like just given permission, right?
Hmm.
So that should be regulated, so the crowd should be decreased and pace of giving permission to people should be limited, like
Oh, I see. So you're saying they should go back to how it was years ago, where they control the number of people that are allowed to climb the mountain at one time.
right, yeah. And also like uh, the time frame also, like in this season, like we would just allow this number of people, uh you know I like it might be hard to immediately stop for people to do that, but the pace should be like could be decreased, like the degree, like number of people, or like
Yeah,
kind of.
I mean, yeah, no, you're right. You're right. You're the number, the frequency. So yeah,
Right,
so
frequency, yeah, that's what I wanted to. Yeah.
maybe
uh,
so. Basically, what you're arguing is
right.
that, yeah, people need to be doing this less. Yeah, but that
Yes. Yeah.
doesn't that doesn't reduce the danger, and that doesn't reduce the pollution. So it's, I mean, yes, you're right, but I'm not. I'm also, but who knows? I don't know if that would truly solve the. I'm not sure if that's the solution. I think the solution
Hmm.
is probably to keep raising the price of the trip, I guess, to maybe filter out some. I don't know. It just seems to me. My theory is you're putting too many people's lives are in danger, so it's just not a good
Hmm.
hobby. But people are into that. I guess they climb all the other peaks, so you got to do that one.
Hmm.
If you hit all the continents, I don't know. But did you do mountain climbing in the States?
No, I didn't.
I see.
Yeah.
Could you could you climb Everest if you wanted to? Do you think you would be up for it if you wanted to?
uh yeah, so that's like I have done while climbing and this stuff like that, but I have a little bit desire to go up in the mountain, but not made my plan of like summiting the Everest yet. Yeah, uh, but I'd like to try with some small mountain stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think the smaller mountains are okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, yeah. Well, that was really, really all really excellent. We're coming up on, get this, just 5 minutes left.
Okay. Yep.
So basically, what are your, in summary, what are your plans today? What are you going to do today on this Friday morning in Nepal?
Um, so so we have to do a lot of coordination with the COVID-19 cases, as
Hmm.
this has been such an unfortunate reality the world is facing. And Nepal, the cases are rising, right, rising up, and along with the cases rising up, hunger has been another challenge for people, for daily wage workers, people who have disabilities, single mothers who have disabled children, or lactating mothers, and their main source of income has been terminated, and many people have lost their jobs. The restaurants worker, and many deaf and hearing impaired people used to work in restaurants as waiter, so their job has been snatched, like terminated. So we have been doing food deliveries and medicine supplies, to the doors of people who are suffering a lot. And if the country is under the lockdown over the past 2 months, so the situation is getting much harder over here.
Hmm.
and,
Oh man,
and
oh man.
yep.
It's strange. I speak to students from all over Asia, and certain countries were hit hard, others were. Country that was hit the least was Vietnam. They said Vietnam had very few cases, so I'm sorry to hear that Nepal had so many. It's all very frustrating, all very strange. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. And here we, neighbors and volunteers of our organization, we are united in terms of like packing up foods and delivering stuffs, because it is the demand of time that we should be united, uh, and we should be driven by the universal spirit of humanity. So yeah, we have been doing this campaign.
Right. Well, that's really excellent. And so, what are some countries in the remaining 2 minutes? What are some countries that you hope to go to in the future?
I'd really love to go to Canada and Ireland, and also New Zealand, because
Hmm.
I studied a lot of Irish literature, and I was kind of fascinated by Irish culture. Uh, yeah, so that I suppose the land of genius people, the Seamus Heaney, W.B. Yeats, all the literary figures.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So so I'd love to catch up with some Irish people, and see their environments also.
Wonderful. Have you been on a podcast before? Do you do a lot of this podcasting?
Not really. Like I and my brother, we host a weekly radio show here from
Oh.
Nepal. But yeah, and it's
Oh, well,
like kind of live.
you should get that radio online so I could be on a Nepalese radio station. That would be
Sure.
that
Yeah.
would be
Of course. Yeah. Of
that would
course.
be
Yeah.
that would be like the first time in history that some guy from
Right.
America who's never been to
Yeah.
Nepal was on a Nepalese station. Dude, that would be awesome, man.
Yeah. 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 We should do that. Yeah. Of
You
course. Yeah.
should. I think I saw you because you now the better question, or perhaps the
Mhm.
best question is, so then how did you find out about blind advocacy radio? Because he's just starting up. How did you see that post? I think that's how you came in contact with me.
Yeah, so somebody like from National Federation of the Blind, Washington D.C. So he shared that post on Facebook. Uh,
Really? Well, I'm
yes.
really glad to hear that because this guy who I'm working with, the blind advocacy radio people, they're just
Mhm.
starting out. So this is going to be their debut. My show is the first show ever on their station. I'm the debut
Wow.
artist, basically. It's an immense
Wow.
honor. Um,
Yep.
it was a simple matter of luck and timing. Um,
Right.
but but I'm really glad. I'm so glad that you came today. You are
Mhm.
number one, you're always, I hope that you come back to the United States because you
Sure.
greatly appreciate our country. And I hope that you go to many more conventions because you love coming here. And
Yep.
number one, you're always welcome on Aaron's Opinion because I just loved talking to you. Your
Yeah.
perspective is right.
Yeah.
And I must say, I've never spoken to a Nepalese person for an hour before, and I loved it. It was a wonderful conversation. I'm fascinated by your country, and
Thank you so
and
much.
of course, um, you should also start your very own podcast because you have a great message. You're always welcome right here, and who knows, listener, you might hear me on a Nepalese station someday. You've been listening
Yeah.
to
Of course.
Aaron's Opinion. I'm Aaron Richmond. Uh, he's he's Sushil